Hi everyone, my name is Farrell Thomas, and I'm going to be talking to you about brown pelicans and fishing piers in Tampa Bay during the COVID-19 pandemic. A little introduction, seabirds have suffered a 70% global decline in biodiversity in the last 50 years. Brown pelicans in particular are a species native to Florida that were once on the endangered species list due to the effects of DDT pollution on their populations. They were a major success story for the endangered species list when their populations recovered from the effects of the pollution. However, in the mid-1990s, we saw evidence of their population declining once again due to currently undocumented issues. It is suspected that the current cause of decline is recreational fishing bycatch and bird entanglement. Entanglement occurs when a bird is caught as bycatch and is not properly released, which is often lethal to the animal. Bycatch, for those of you who don't know, is when an animal of a non-target species is inadvertently caught by a fisher. So for example, if somebody is fishing from a pier for fish, say mackerel, and inadvertently catches a bird such as a pelican or a gull, that would be known as bycatch. In March of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic made its way to Florida and caused a state of emergency that resulted in the public parks closure, which allowed for an opportunistic quasi-experiment for this study. Now, a little bit about my methods. 4 fishing piers in Tampa Bay were chosen based on a preliminary study that was funded by the local Audubon chapters of St. Pete and Tampa. The north and south fishing piers of the Skyway Fishing Pier State Park were chosen, as well as the Gulf and Bay piers of the Fort DeSoto County Park. Observational studies were conducted at each location with the target variables including total number of pelicans present, total number of fishers present, and total number of entangled or injured pelicans at each pier. And it's important to note that the number of injured or entangled pelicans could be slightly underestimated because often the injuries are not visible from afar and we only find the injuries with a physical exam. So there are some that we may not have been able to see from our vantage point, which means that it could be underestimated. The COVID-19 state of emergency in March of 2020 called for the public parks closure, which included our study sites. Both the Sunshine Skyways Fishing Pier State Park and the Fort DeSoto County Park were closed, but special permission was granted to continue the surveys during the closure. So thank you to those officials who granted that permission. 4 surveys were conducted per pier during the closure and 15 were conducted per pier during normal operations. We would have liked to have done more studies, more surveys during the closure, but we were unsure of how long it would last. And unfortunately, it only lasted 4 weeks, which is why we only had 4 surveys. A t-test was performed on the data to determine the statistical significance of the difference between normal operations and the COVID-19 closure. So a little bit about those results. The composite data from all 4 piers was statistically significant, as well as the South and Gulf pier data. The North and Bay piers did not have statistically significant data. However, we believe this is due to external factors which need more research. All piers did have significantly less entangled birds present during the closures though. As you can see from this composite chart, during the open status of the pier, there was a total of 187 injured birds witnessed at the 4 piers. And during the closure, we only documented a single injured or entangled bird at all 4 piers. And here are my graphs that go along with that data. This is the composite for all 4 piers, and here is each pier's chart: the South Pier, North Pier, Gulf Pier, and Bay Pier. And a little bit about my discussion. The results of this study suggest that brown pelicans populations in Tampa Bay are being negatively affected by recreational fishing from piers. And we believe the influencing factors could be height and length of the pier, presence of adjacent structures for perching, and culture of the recreational fishers on the given piers. Preventative and retroactive measures are critical in preventing the significant decline of this species because entanglement cases are preventable, but in some but rare cases, it is unavoidable. And that is when we need to have rescue and rehab organizations involved to rescue birds such as this one and rehabilitate it to get it back out into the wild. And for a full list of my sources or to learn about this study a little more in depth, you can see my full length paper, which will hopefully be published soon, but for the time being, it will be linked to my LinkedIn in the project section. So I hope you enjoyed, and it was nice speaking to you all.